on Chris Duo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna wait a minute. Okay, now we're going to officially start the meeting. Morning, everybody. We have a guest today, Charity Roby. You know Charity?
Yes, of course.
Steve, do you know Charity? Charity?
I think maybe a small island.
Local journalist.
It's a small island, yes.
I assume Meg and Amber.
Anybody?
So you know Charity? You know
We
that?
have received one application.
Yes.
You.
Yes.
So we're waiting for more.
Yes, you will get, one more
We
was,
had to, did the ad go out? I don't remember if the ad go out.
one more was sent by mail. I just see Christina coming.
Oh, yeah. Made me think of that, who was it? Was it Mark Twain?
Yes.
The reports of my demise. Maybe we exaggerated or at least
Yes.
amateur.
Well, I hope that's the last of the overlaps and confusions on this. I hope that, none of the financial organizations get confused.
Yeah, right.
Legacy,
Hi,
yes.
Christina.
Yes, hopefully you won't hear from the social security.
What's actually disappointing is more of my former employees did not write it.
Okay, good morning. We'll now officially start. Did everybody get a chance to look at the minutes? Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Green Expo, since Sarah has to leave at 9:30. Sarah, do you just want to talk about, actually,
Item 5.
we can combine 5 and 3 together. So we'll have the food buckets by,
We have them.
so
They're
you have them,
received and labeled, and I can even show you a photo. Here they are. Here they are. They're beautiful. Thank you very much, town, for
how big are
supporting
they?
it.
Wow.
5 gallons.
So that's like,
They're about this
oh
tall.
my gosh.
I mean, they're 5-gallon buckets like you see outside of Binder pools, they're
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
with handles and,
Okay.
and tight fitting lids.
that's terrific.
And they have a, yes and no, yes, fruit and vegetable scraps, no stickers. We have a stickers wall of shame of people who don't take their tea bags, no staples, coffee grounds, coffee filters, bread, eggshells, nutshells, and houseplants. And of course, dead flowers fits in that. No meat or fish bones or scraps, dairy products, fats, oils, grease, compostable plates, cups, utensils, bags, or pet waste. And Ariel reports that we're rolling it out this weekend. The buckets will be available at the farm stand at Sylvester Manor, at the farmer's market. I think she's got that lined up, although, she has to make sure that everybody has signed on.
Will there be any left for the expo, you think?
Oh, yes. I mean, we have 100 buckets.
Okay.
Can't imagine. We'll make sure. And she's also thinking about another location, TBD, but she knows that this is the focus of the Green Expo table for Sylvester.
Okay. And I'd sent you an email about this. I'm sure you've thought about this because the expo is now going to be actually even more integrated into the craft fair than previously thought,
Great.
which is great. But because the craft fair has a lot of off-island visitors,
We'll make sure that
I just want to make
people are
sure that
residents.
residents only get.
We'll take name and addresses for the people.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Because we want to track who has them.
Okay, perfect.
What was I just going to say about that? The town has asked, understandably, for some documentation of the program to make sure that we are exempt from state DEC has, and I credit our composting, the Manor's composting intern from several years ago, but she did an exhaustive report on what triggers the thresholds for the regulatory, and we're going back to that. But now that we're growing the program, we'll be photographing, documenting, projecting the sizes of the piles. There's a there's a trigger at 3,000 cubic yards, which if you can imagine like a dumpster that you're familiar with, how big 3,000 cubic yards is ginormous, and we're not going to hit that conceivably at all. And we also, one of the key things, although Ariel, and we're all, we would love to be able to provide compost back to the community, sort of as a trade for the people who are putting in the inputs, but that is years away, because the main goal of this is to keep the nutrients on the island and put them back into the soils at the farm, and thereby into the food, food supply. So there is no plan to distribute, and certainly not to sell any of this. It's not a commercial compost operation. And we'll just make sure that that's all communicated very clearly so that the town can, rest assured.
Because then a whole new set of rules or guidelines kick in.
Yeah, there's, requirements for registering, and then another threshold for licensing. It's just a whole different ballgame, but we've been aware of that all along, and now we just have to share our awareness so that it's documented.
Is it 3,000 cubic feet per week?
Cubic yards
Cubic yards, sorry.
per year, but
Per year.
that's an enormous amount.
Yep.
3,000, I measured the pile that we have going, and it comes to 90 cubic yards. And go from 90 to 3,000 is it's a big leap, so.
Okay.
So that's.
What I'm wondering
that.
is there room for, in the future, once these 100 buckets go out, would there be room for 100 more buckets at some point?
I believe there would, but I would defer to the farm. I'm doing a thorough farm walk tomorrow with the farm manager to just do on-the-ground documentation and get a real-time sense so that we can provide this information back. And we'll talk about, what the vision, the big hairy vision for the future would be. Because, the nutrients are here and they're a challenge to the waste stream increasingly. So the more we can do, the more the manor can do, the more it will want to. And a big change this year will be going from seasonal to year round. So that's already a big improvement for the supply for the farm. And for the diverting of this is in the, in the drawdown understanding of climate change challenges, food waste is in the top 3. It's a huge producer of greenhouse gases. So this is part of the response to, the threats of climate change as well, and drawing down our island's emissions. So the more that can be done, the more we're so inclined. And just a quick mention, since I just mentioned climate and it was in the minutes, the chair of the Long Island chapter of the Climate Reality Project is coming. She's going to have a table at the Green Expo. Her name is Francesca Rhiannon, and she's fabulous. And actually Lynn Arthur is going to attend with her. Yeah. And I'll be next to them as another climate reality project.
Sarah, what's the scale?
Sorry, I
of
think you have
this?
to actually stand up and
Sorry.
face the wall.
What's the scale of the Sylvester Manor compost program now?
Well, in terms of diverting food waste, last year it was,
How many buckets?
how many buckets? So CSA members bring their buckets to the CSA pickup, and each bucket is weighed and it's aggregated. And out of the 100 and some members, the bucket is like 40 to 60, depending on the week.
Okay, so it's much smaller than the 100 that.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
don't, we should not assume that 100 people are gonna show up with their buckets every week. It all depends on household and, availability and so on. We don't get that many. The manor is buying additional buckets for expanding CSA and potentially, some other partner organizations on the island, if we can fund that. And But in aggregate, last year and the year before, about 4 tons of food waste was diverted from the waste stream into the compost program.
That's just at Sylvester Manor.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just from the CSA members. There's a friendly competition that goes on to see who has the heaviest bucket.
Yes, I'm part of that.
Oh, yes, you are.
I'm eating a lot of melons. Thanks.
Okay, anything else on the buckets?
Just a big thank you to the committee and to the town for supporting it to the extent that you could.
Thank you, Clean Energy Communities, for their grant.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that was clean energy, not
That was-
climate smart.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I kept fixing that. Yeah, it's a Clean Energy Community grant.
Oh, great.
And they know all about it because I had to contact them. Speaking of the Green Expo, we'll have our own table. What would we like to have at the table? You don't have to answer right now, but think about it and you can just email me, let me know.
Are we ready to say anything about ETIP?
Yeah, we could, I have the press release. Since we haven't officially met with them. By the way, we did have a meet and greet and orientation meeting with them. And so it was really just sort of letting us know how the meetings would work out in the future. And actually, there's a lot of leeway here in terms of setting up the meetings. It's not going to be, they'll say, okay, August 20th, we're having a meeting. They're sort of acknowledging that we all have lives and to make it work out for both of us.
Okay.
So,
I thought one of the key takeaways from the orientation was that the planning phase is flexible and fluid, the scoping phase, I should say. And however long that takes, the 18 months of technical assistance starts after we finish the scoping phase. So we have that benefit of being able to count on, full 12 to 18 months of technical assistance, however long it takes us to do the scoping.
And that's basically all we'll be able to say next week, which is that we're beginning the scoping phase, and the scoping phase is the beginning of the planning stage. And then no build out will occur before the planning is over.
Well, no, I don't know what you mean by build out.
Well,
We're not actually building anything.
I'm saying we'll be planning before we'll be, making any large, decisions or installations. But the point is that next week, if at the table, if we're going to be addressing ETIP, we're basically giving them the press
it's
release.
just an announcement.
Right, an announcement, because it's just at the very.
It's just an announcement.
Right.
And nothing more.
So we have the planning phase first, and then after that's done, there's an 18-month period of like scoping and figuring out implementation of.
I think my understanding is that it's actually the scoping of what we want to accomplish
Yeah,
that helps them match us with the precise technical assistance personnel at NREL. In that introductory Zoom, I was traveling, and for some reason she couldn't send me to a breakout room, so I ended up staying with NREL, with Tessa Greco from NREL, and she was very encouraging about us looking at, because we're the only New York State community in this program, looking at the funding opportunities through the Environmental Bond Act and the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act that are unique to New York, and agreeing that if we choose to, that we should bring that fact to the table early on, so that the projects that we may choose to pursue can be tailored to the available funding as they're figuring out what they're going to do with those funds at the state level. So I thought that was a very good piece of advice. It's just the goal being that at the end of the technical assistance period, we have projects that suit the island and for which there's already identified funding.
It's great.
That is good.
Yeah, and of course, they're interested in replicability, which makes us a good model for New York.
Right.
Also with the Inflation Reduction Act and the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act at the federal levels, all of those things could play.
But if I can add to your point, Meg, about the process itself, it sounded to me, correct me if I'm wrong, that these first several months, we're basically setting out our goals and objectives, which I think, as we've discussed, should be consistent with the comp plan. And so I guess the timing is really good too. And that's what we start with in this first subphase. And then we go on to planning from there. I think that's the way it looks.
Did the consultants have anything to say on Tuesday about incorporating ETIP into the
We
process?
will be incorporating ETIP into it. They didn't have all the information on ETIP when they made up the PowerPoint, so I'm gonna review the chapter and I'll add it into the chapter. And then that'll add into the recommendations. So it is gonna be incorporated, because it's gonna be a big project.
Meg, do you think,
I did let everybody know that,
Yeah, I talked to Tim before the meeting.
I let them know that I talked to you, so we knew that.
Yeah, so we will be incorporating it.
well, if we're going to mention ETIP at the expo, would you want to have a little, focus on the energy part of the comp plan
Yeah,
as
we're
part
gonna
of
have a
that?
comp plan table.
Yeah.
And that will have, hopefully we'll have all the poster boards, because let me see. Craft fair, it'll be after the virtual meeting, so I will have, some, I think, display materials that'll have all of the proposed action items and stuff. And so I will, bring the utilities and the infrastructure one, and I'll include the ETIP with it, so there's information for everybody.
If you'd like us to repeat it at the Green Committee table,
Definitely.
maybe just on that piece.
Okay.
Many communities are setting a goal for net zero or reduction of emissions or, some kind of goal to work toward that can frame these things. And that might be an interesting thing. I don't know, like, would you support a goal type of sign-up sheet or something? I don't know, for the Green Committee table. I don't know.
I mean, something realistic.
It would be nice if maybe for the Green Expo, we could have just like a cheat sheet of things you can do. Just things that homeowners can do every day to help like reduce their carbon footprint or reduce their energy usage, don't necessarily have all the lights on all the time, or, things like that. Maybe switching out your light bulbs, just little things that people can do to be part of the solution. Even just like something people can just take with them. People like to collect things when they go.
Yeah, and maybe a little summary of, the impact of what you guys did with pulling all the incandescents out of the town buildings. A little report on how that reduced our usage.
We have to do a little research to see, look,
Well, we could just say that we did it, that you guys did it.
Yeah.
Talk about the clean energy communities.
what I have been doing sometimes is not making handouts, but actually making,
Yeah, like little poster boards.
and then people just take their cell phones out and
Yeah.
photograph them that way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's green.
It does, I like that, I like that. Well, and if you guys come up with, you come up with your bullets, your support or something, we can put that on your Green Options webpage. And then you have your QR code on your
I have
cards
those.
that link to the Green Option page. And then you can have some of these resources on that page.
Mhm.
You can do it that way too.
Okay,
Do we have any tote bags left?
oh, yes.
You can sell tote bags.
well, thank you for reminding me.
Are we committed to selling them, or could we give them away at the expo?
Well, we have been selling them for $5.
Maybe by donation,
Bargain. Huh?
by donation maybe, or however.
Well, I mean,
Nice to have
it's
them.
a self-funding project, so the $5 covers, it's like a rolling fund.
Right,
Goes
right.
back into the fund.
That's a great idea.
It covers the cost, period. So to me, like, I mean, people sell tote bags for $25.
Yeah, I think, and it's a craft fair, people will come with money, they'll be expected to
Exactly.
spend money, so it's
Exactly.
probably a really good time to bring them
Yes.
out, they're cute.
Yes, exactly. So I think $5 is a bargain. Okay, I like the idea of the cheat sheet. Tote bags, thank you for reminding me.
I just came across something the Washington Post is doing called a climate coach. I haven't looked at it yet, but it's exactly that. It's things that you can, that everybody can do every day. That might, I'll see if I can dig that out and send it around.
It was on Washington Post.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
Because you can have one on, basics of composting, one on energy reduction and responsibility, one on, you can have like little cheat sheets for different things.
Mhm.
Because I think WAC is gonna do,
Climate coach.
fertilizers, like proper fertilizer usage, I think they're gonna do, don't flush your medications, people don't wanna drink your drugs. They have like poster boards and things like that, so they'll have a lot of educational stuff out too. But I don't think they're gonna touch on the energy side of things as much as you guys could.
Okay.
And the composting, I don't think they're gonna go
Okay.
into that at all.
Well, do you want to do composting at your table, Sarah, or do you want to have it at the Green Committee table? How do you want to?
The green buckets, that's the
Those
Sylvester
would
Manor.
be you,
Yeah.
with
Oh.
Sylvester Manor, but then if we did like a general composting thing,
I think we're gonna focus on the program at the farm.
okay, so we'll just do general. I'll check with Howard if they're doing native landscapes or,
Yeah, I think they were gonna do the invasive plant list and maybe like recommended plants, like native plants for your garden. I know they've been working on that, I'm not sure if
They have
it's
been
done yet.
yeah.
But yeah, check with Howard, see what else they were gonna have available.
Because I did something last year about
Yeah.
native landscapes. I had books out for people to look at. I'll check with Howard.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Right. Well, if anybody thinks of anything else that we could do or how we can sort of organize this idea, just let me know and I will actually do it all and then I can get InkSpot to print out the stuff and, right. Okay, Sarah, and just one quick thing, some of you already signed the ethics code document. For those of you who haven't,
I gave mine to Coco.
just read the material and then sign it and bring it in. I have not done it yet, but I will. Okay, we have a guest today named Phil Denara. Are you there, Phil?
Hey, Tim. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, hi there, sorry. Phil, why don't you just as explanation, Phil had, I think, seen the announcement of the ETIP award. Is that how you?
Yes, yeah, I did.
And so he reached out to me and just offered assistance, general assistance, but he also works in the area of, I think, storage, right?
Yeah, correct. So
Why don't you just tell us about yourself?
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure to meet you all. Sorry I couldn't attend in person today. My name's Phil Denara. I have close ties to Shelter Island. Both of my parents live there. Probably have seen some of them around. My mom works at the veterinary office right there. So anyway, I personally reached out on a personal level and interest in supporting the ETIP or other clean energy initiatives underway by the town. But my professional day job is I'm the director of development for Key Capture Energy, which is a utility scale energy storage developer. So in support of the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, the CLCPA, there's energy storage mandates associated with that of 3,000 megawatts by 2030, which has since been doubled to 6,000 megawatts by Governor Hochul in her State of the State last year. And our company actually has the largest operational battery energy storage project in the state and a pretty significant portfolio of projects under development. So I work really closely with all the offshore wind developers, all the large scale solar developers, energy storage, et cetera. So very familiar with kind of the various components of energy infrastructure and meeting the state's goals, including, relationships with NYSERDA, the governor's office, et cetera, as we work to deploy clean energy solutions at scale. So just wanted to reach out to Tim and offer myself as a resource through this process. Really here to, support in any way possible, but just wanted to pop on a call, say hello, introduce myself and let you know that I'm here and happy to help.
Okay, great, thank you. But as you probably heard, we're not, we haven't really gotten off the ground yet, so we have no idea where we're headed with it. So, we are glad to meet you, and we'll keep you posted.
Yeah, sounds good. I'll make an effort to make it in person during the next committee meeting or whatever it may be. And if you'd like to include me on any of the scoping or planning discussions or however it may be, I'm happy to support in any way. So thanks for the time and looking forward to any further next steps.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Phil.
Bye.
Okay. We're actually racing through this agenda. Any old business anybody wants to bring up?
Well, it's great to hear that we're accepting applications and growing the committee.
Yes, we
That'll be-
we have one in the bin and one way to the,
And there's an interview process with the board.
yes. Yep.
Coco, do you know if the advertisement went out for the green options
I do not,
position?
I do not know, I just had an email exchange with Christina, how I can help.
Okay, all right. So we'll just double check for that, because we do have to advertise for it too.
Yes, I know.
We'll advertise, we'll get our applicants.
And I actually, Coco, I hope I wasn't too annoying with my additions or tweaking of the text.
Oh, perfect. So it is on the website, just FYI.
But I did tweak the text that was for the ad and and I hope that got in versus the previous one.
Well, we'll see.
Um,
Would you like us to attend those interviews? Or are those done in public session or no?
No.
Oh, okay.
Technically personnel, so they're done.
No,
Usually we'll have like Tim come.
usually I come.
Board members.
Got it. Okay.
It's a very intense grilling process.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
People have left in tears.
Only a few.
Okay, and any new business before Sarah runs off to her fun trip at the dentist?
When I get the chapters from the consultants,
Mhm.
because they're working on doing edits and fact checking and everything for all the information we've given them, I'll send you guys the chapters on utilities and natural environment and anything that kind of pertains to you, I'll send over for you guys to look at
Terrific,
as just part of the public review.
terrific.
So I'm gonna send them to all the committees so that all the committees can look at them and just kind of give us your immediate feedback.
Okay, terrific.
Yep.
Look forward.
Yes, wish me
I
luck.
look forward to distributing them.
Bye, Sarah, good luck.
Thank you all. Thanks again.
Bye.
When do you envision, if I can ask that question?
September 15th at the latest. So they've said that they should have everything finished by September 15th and we should be able to give it out to the public. But we're hoping to release some of the chapters sooner rather than later because they've had more time with some chapters than others because when they came on board, we had already finished, the the history and culture chapter, the housing chapter. There's a whole bunch of chapters that were already done that they took off with right out of the gate. So some of the chapters are more complete than others. Some of them we're still collecting and kind of like weeding through assessors data and things like that for like the land use and zoning. All the zoning maps are different. You know, when you pull from all the different agencies, all the mapping, so it's all different. So BJ and I have been going through it literally parcel by parcel to try to correct all the, like the current usage map. So that's all just about finished. So a lot of the chapters are done. There's like 1 or 2 chapters that they're still trying to clean up and just fact check and make sure the statistics are correct. So we're hoping to just roll them out sooner rather than later, the chapters that are more complete, get things out to the public. So you might get like 3 chapters and then 2 chapters. I wanted to just give you the whole document so you can see the full picture because a lot of the chapters talk about each other, you know, they kind of rely on each other. So we'll try to put them out in clusters that work together, you know. There's a lot of things in, you know, the housing chapter that reference the natural environment chapter, and there's things in the economics chapter that reference the environmental chapter and the housing chapter. So there's clusters that make sense to be released together just for reference. So we want to get them out to the public, but at the same time, we don't want to rush them and have them put out before they're ready.
Absolutely.
So, you know, what we did for the town board was give them an overview of what's been going on because they haven't been briefed in over a year. So that was a presentation that kind of gave the rough structure that the consultants are using. They used all the chapters and all the information that the CPAC has been working on for the last 3 years. We gave them all the information. And so they're going through it, fact checking it, making sure it's right, going over all the statistics, making sure those are correct, and updating them with their databases and their resources. So, you know, there's not gonna be any real significant substantial change from what the comp plan gave the consultants. It's more cleaning up, organizing, you know, creating visuals that will really help people understand what's going on. And consolidating some of the recommendations. So, you know, you'll have the goal is gonna be to, for example, like, you know, reduce the energy demand on the island, for example, and then all the different ways or all the different things we can do to achieve that. And so they've kind of consolidated things into a way that makes it easier to understand and implement. So, you know, there are going to be some kind of organizational or structural changes to the chapters that we created, but the content's going to remain largely the same.
And then once it goes out, the public will comment and then it comes back.
Yeah, and we're gonna have a whole bunch of public hearings and public meetings about it. So on the 24th, there's going to be a virtual, kind of a virtual workshop where we can hear from the public. And what we're gonna do is the same thing that we did in the beginning, where we had, you know, a huge Zoom with about 100 people on it, and then we break that Zoom down into smaller groups. And so then each smaller group has one person who kind of chairs it, and then it's an open discussion for everybody in that group. So they can talk about any of the chapters, any of their concerns, any of the things that they want to see incorporated or things they don't agree with, to get, you know, interactive feedback. And then after that meeting on the 24th, we're going to have an open house on Saturday, September 23rd. So at that point, the full draft of the plan will have been released. Everyone will have had 2 weeks about to look at it all. And what we're gonna have is, it's gonna be over in the community center above the Legion Hall. And we're gonna have giant poster boards that have all of the action items and the goals and objectives on them for every chapter, and comment sheets so that people can come, and it'll be open pretty much all day for the public to come through whenever they can to look at it, give their feedback, make comments on the action items. And that way we can get more public, it's gonna be like all day on a Saturday. So that'll be another chance to really get solid feedback. And then at that point, after that's done, they'll do another revision, taking into account all the comments we got at that open house. And then hopefully there won't be a lot for them to revise. Hopefully the plan is something that most people agree with. And so then at that point, it will go to the town board for the town board to start setting public hearings. And then you have the official public hearing process for people to come and make comments on the plan. So the goal is to hopefully not have, to have created a plan that most of the community is gonna agree with and get behind, and that shows a healthy future for the island, so that it doesn't need too significant of changes. And so, depending on public hearings, we have time and we can just keep setting hearings. There's no real deadline on when this has to be approved. People just kept requesting a timeline. What's the timeline? What's the timeline? So I created a timeline that just had all the benchmarks that we have to do in order to complete the process. But those are flexible and can be moved as they need to be, depending on public input and participation. So that's kind of where we stand. So right now, the next meeting is the 24th, and that's all virtual, so it's open to everybody can Zoom in, and that'll also be recorded. So that virtual meeting with all the breakout groups will be recorded, and then we'll put that on the town's page on YouTube. I'll look and see if we can put it on channel 22 so that everybody can see it, and then you'll be able to see the public discussions and everything too.
Yeah, I remember those from before.
Yeah, and so we'll have the breakout groups, and then everybody comes back in, and then each group will report on what they discussed about. So it should be a good meeting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's good, and I guess I like the fact that the process is more important to you, it sounds like, than having sort of a cutoff date.
Yeah, I mean.
You want to have a thorough process.
Right. I want to make sure everybody's had the chance to comment and that everybody has had, a chance to see the whole document. The drafts have been online for, quite a while now, and the content's not really changing. It's just getting cleaned up and put back out to the public in a format that people can understand.
Right. Ideally, the purpose of the whole plan and the process is to get community buy-in.
Exactly.
Get the island and the people behind it.
Right.
It's not a top-down.
No, and
process.
it's had community input from the beginning.
Right.
And the CPAC is a portion of your community, and they're the ones who've been driving the development of the chapters. And we've had active work sessions where we go through and literally line by line edit and review and change things. And so I'm hoping that once it gets out and everybody has the time to read it, that they'll see that it's not, there are some people who are scared of it. They think it's, this crazy agenda, but it's really not. And it's recommendations. It doesn't change legislation, it doesn't pass laws, it doesn't make code. It's recommendations on what the town can do to help create the vision of the future that everybody wants. It does not recommend things like down zoning. It recommends strengthening the zoning in the residential areas to prevent down zoning in the future. It has a lot of initiatives to help protect the wetlands, to protect the aquifer, to remediate some of the damage that we've already done to our natural environment. There's, recommendations on ways that we can start protecting trees better. There's recommendations on things we can do to promote aquaculture that helps clean the bays and estuaries. So there's a lot of things in there, like majority of the plan is about remediation and protection, and kind of protecting the way things are now. So I'm hoping that once people read it, they can see that and they'll understand that the whole goal of this is to preserve what we have and then to heal it and protect it. So I'm hopeful that people can actually see the content when it comes out.
No, I look forward to the next step.
I know, and I'm really hoping that we get solid community engagement. I want a lot of people involved,
Of course.
so.
Yeah, that was one thing in the groups that I was in. How do I put this, get the full community engagement
Right.
that way?
I know, you always get kind of pockets. And I'm really hoping to get a broader group. So what BJ and I have been doing is going to all the homeowner association meetings and just letting them know that it's going on, what are your concerns? And we've spoken to almost everybody. I think we have like 3 homeowners groups left to meet with, and we have scheduled meetings with most of them. Just letting them know, hey, this is what's happening, this is what's coming down the line, please pay attention, get involved. And now that I have all the contacts for the presidents of the associations, when I have the flyers, I'm emailing to them so they can mail it out to their whole homeowners association, which is good because that helps reach a broader group of people. But there's still a whole group of people in the center of the town who aren't represented in a
By
homeowners
the homeowners,
association.
exactly.
So we're also reaching out through the fire department. We're trying to set up a meeting with the Lions Club just to try to get a broader scope of people involved in the whole process.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a meeting with the fire department the first Monday of September. We're gonna meet with all the church organizations. We're trying to reach out to all the civic organizations, all the homeowners associations, kind of all the groups that bring groups of people together to let them know that it's happening. I want them there.
No,
Did Peter Biedema reach out to you? Okay.
I haven't heard from him yet, but reach out to him.
President of the Lions Club is.
Okay, I'll reach out to him again.
I mean, I sent him the note.
All right. Yeah, so that's kind of what we're doing. We're just working on outreach, and it's actually been really nice to talk to each one of the different homeowners associations because they're all in the different sensitive areas. We've talked to the Montclair Peninsula, we talked to Hilo Shores, we've talked to Silver Beach, we've talked to Shelterlands, we've talked to Hay Beach, we've talked to just a whole bunch of different ones. And each group has a slightly different concern, and different needs, which is actually really good because I kind of want to do a map of the island with the different concerns in each area. So that, people can understand that when you're talking about water, the water concern isn't the same for everybody. For some people, it's potability because of saltwater intrusion. Other people, it's potability because of nitrates. In some places, they just have such poor water quality. It's not necessarily nitrates, not necessarily saltwater intrusion, but it's iron, it's manganese, it's all these other things. And then, there are some people who've had to move their well because saltwater is just pushed in so far. And so now we've got people moving wells, trying to get potable water. So it's interesting. It's really interesting to hear from all the different areas, like how they're dealing with it and what they're coming against, what they're coming across, because you don't always get that, and some people are like, well, what can we do about it? What can the town do about it? Why haven't you done anything? I was like, well, here's the deal. I don't know about it unless you tell me. Like, I'm good, but I'm not that good. So, there are people who were requesting public water. And I was like, well, we have no idea that you have that need until you tell us. So write us a letter, write us an email. If there's something you need the town to be aware of, you have to notify the town. I can't read your mind. I'm not in your kitchen in the morning. So I think that was helpful. People now understand that you just have to talk to us. Like, we're here to talk to you. We want your feedback. We want to know what you're trying to sort out, what you're dealing with, what your concerns are. But we don't know that they exist unless you tell us. So I'm kind of hoping, I've really enjoyed meeting with the group. So I might even try to do it again next summer when everyone has their organizational meetings, just to kind of touch base and see what's going on, because it's been very helpful. It's been very enlightening. And it's nice to just meet everybody. You see all these names and you see faces, but now you can sort of put them together, which is nice.
It's just sort of popped in my head, we had the meeting of the committee heads a week or so ago. Would it ever make sense to have actually the heads of all the different associations actually come and have a meeting with the town and report on all the things that they're sort of concerned about on an annual basis?
Yeah.
And go to them.
I mean, that's sort of what Paige and I have been doing. We've been going to all their annual meetings because they kind of do them all in the summer when everybody's out. So.
But they're kind of all staggered throughout the year. So just wondering if you had in this room.
Right, just one.
All of them come in and then just report on some of the things that they're concerned about this year.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
But that sounds great,
Yeah, so it's been fun. It's been fun.
probably very informative.
Very informative, yeah, and, you know, it was good because we could really have solid discussions about things that maybe they're confused about, or they don't understand, or, you know, they just need more information on. You know, sometimes, you know, when you're inside it, it's hard to see what everybody else is seeing. So, you know, Hilo's right next to West Neck Water District. They're like, what's going on over there? Why do they keep digging up the road? And I was like, oh, well, let me explain to you what's been happening here. So I was able to explain it to everyone, and they're like, oh, that makes sense. You know, so it's good just to really touch base and see what's been going on. So yeah, something I think I'd like to do maybe each year, at least.
That's great.
It's been
Look forward to the 24th and,
Yeah. And I think the one in September where it's just an open house where people can come and spend as much time as they want and kind of go through everything and talk to us will be really helpful. Because there'll be far more information out at that point. The consultants have promised me, pinky promise, that everything will be available by September 15th. So I'm trying to get it earlier, but they have a lot of work to do. You know, we did a lot of work, but we gave them everything, including the kitchen sink, and sometimes 2 kitchen sinks, depending on how crazy the chapter was. So they're really sorting through it, and they're doing a very good job. But it's a lot of work we gave them. And we don't want to rush them, but we want it done.
it's a big project. You haven't spoken to the Heights yet, right?
No, we have a meeting with them, scheduled for Monday, the 28th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Is that the one with Lily? No,
I don't know.
okay, never mind.
That's on Saturday.
That's on Saturday, okay, because Lily Hoffman, I think, is talking on Saturday. So it's,
Oh, that'll be interesting. Well, we have a meeting with you guys on Monday, the 28th, from 4 to 6.
okay. Okay. Thank you, that's a great update on what's going on. Anybody have anything else to ask, offer? Anything for the audience?
I wanted to ask if you have been in touch with anyone from the South Ferry Hills Association. David Lichtenstein's our president.
Yes, I reached out to them. You guys have a meeting coming up on
Sunday, a general membership.
Yes, you're in my book, Sunday, the 20th, 1 o'clock,
Okay, so
at the
some,
beach, I'll be there.
right,
It's down by the boat basically.
1 o'clock.
That's what I have in my book.
Okay, I'll check. I thought it was noon, but
If it's noon, let me know.
yes,
I would want to be an hour late.
I will. That's why I
Yes.
wanted to ask.
Yes,
Great.
yeah, I have Fresh Pond Neighbors Association on the 19th, and I have South Ferry Hills on the 20th. I have, then I have the Heights Association on the 28th. Busy girl.
You are.
So, yeah, I'll be there.
Anybody, I don't think we have anybody else on Zoom. Anybody in the audience have questions or comments or? Okay.
Do you need help at the Green Expo?
Oh, that's, that's a good question. So I'm not, in the past, I've set up the tables the night before. However, what is probably gonna happen is Janelin, being Janelin, to actually mark out all the tables for everything on Thursday or Friday. I haven't heard back from Mike Dunning, he might be on vacation. I told him how many tables we need, but my thought was actually not to, unless something changes between Janelin, I don't know if Janelin wants to set up stuff the night before, but usually the craft fair sets up, actually people start arriving at 6 a.m. apparently, and so it sets up the craft fair. So my thought was we could set up everything for the Green Expo Saturday morning with everybody there, a lot of hands on deck, and do it then. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's fine for me.
Yeah, and then who wants to be at the table? I mean, I'll be there. You want to be
I'll be there,
there?
sure.
You'll be there. So sure, if you want to come along and talk to people and see what it's like. You've been there before, but sure.
What time do you want to set up?
I was thinking of getting it at 9:30. Is that too late, you think, Don? Should I get there?
No, I don't think so. So, hour and a half?
Yeah, I mean, everything, in the past, I've done a map where everybody's gonna go, but I'll know all that Thursday or Friday.
When is the expo open?
It opens at 11.
Opens at 11, so yeah, probably an hour and a half.
I think that's okay.
Have enough hands. Yeah.
We will have enough hands because all the committees will be there.
I mean, we can tell if it's laid out well. We.
I will have an idea.
Exactly.
It's a new venue this year.
It's in a
New venue,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I will know Thursday, probably Thursday, Janet will be there marking the whole thing out. And I just have to locate the tents.
Tim, what time did you want us there to set up tables?
What time do you want to come to? Is that what your question was?
No, what time do you want help?
Well, I was gonna be there at 9:30.
Right.
And the tables presumably will all be there, probably in place. And I'll just put markers, little tags on them for who's sitting where. Do you want to be next to, is there any reason to be next to anybody in particular?
No, you can just stick comp plan right in the middle. Yeah, because then we'll be in the middle of it all.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll just do it that way. And just bring all your materials.
Yep.
We'll have the tables. I'm not sure if we're gonna have chairs.
Okay, that's fine. I can bring it
So,
there.
People may have to bring their own chairs.
I think I have a tent I can bring for our table too, if you don't have enough tents for everybody. I
Yeah,
don't know
let me-
what I have, just in case.
I think last year we actually were okay. And again, we don't have a lot of outside vendors coming.
Right,
It's really more insular this year.
okay.
So I think we'll have enough. Good question.
Just on the tents.
Yeah.
Lions lost a tent, damaged.
Was that from last year?
No,
Or just recently?
Just recently.
Oh, okay.
So what do you expect or what do you need?
Well, we purchased, or the town purchased tents last year. And I just have to check with Brian Sherman what happened to them.
I don't know where they stored them.
I don't know either, but I hope we find them.
Yeah.
So let me just check with Brian today, find out where they are, see, count how many there are. I'll check the shed by the playground, so maybe there are no lion, those are where the lion tents used to be.
Correct, yes.
Are there over?
I don't know. I have to check. I know one was destroyed.
Okay, do you want to check and just
I will
see?
check.
Okay. And I'll check on the other tents. And then we'll see how many we have, and then if, like, Mishabik asked if they should bring a tent.
Okay.
So
Ted
if
Asylum can bring ours.
you have a tent too,
Yeah, we were maybe we asked too if we needed to bring it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think maybe I may just say if people are offering to bring tents, they should bring a tent.
Okay.
That way if we have too many tents, that's,
Better safe than sorry,
yes,
you know.
because it is gonna be, if it's a sunny day, it's gonna be a warm area. So, okay, all right. I think that's all we got. Okay, make a motion to end the meeting.
Second.
Favor? We're done. Thank you.
Yep.